So Pierre Poilievre and the Conservatives have been having a tough time in polls this year, as the Liberals have been leading and even gaining in the polls consistently throughout the year. With Trump's ever-present tariff threat, it's been evident, at least with the polls, that Mark Carney is preferred amongst the majority of Canadians over Pierre Poilievre to deal with this existential threat. One of these pollsters, Léger, recently released a poll with regional Ontario data, which might suggest that Pierre Poilievre's own riding, Carleton, which also happens to be the riding that I live in, might be closer than we expect it to be. So in this video, we're going to explore the possibility and see how likely it is for Pierre Poilievre to lose potentially his own riding of Carleton. Now, I'm not saying that it's going to happen for sure, but it's still worth exploring the possibility. But before we go ahead with the video, please make sure to like this video if you like videos like this, and subscribe to the channel so that I know that you like these kind of videos and my coverage during the Canadian federal election, which is only 20-something days away. So before we dive into the numbers, I just wanted to give you a bit of a warning or a heads up that this whole video only goes by one pollster's latest numbers, and that pollsters have been releasing new polls every day, so this data is subject to change and it is most likely to change. I personally don't think that Pierre Poilievre is going to lose his own riding of Carleton, but the fact that even one pollster has come out and said that it is a potential to be more of a toss-up than we originally thought it would be. It is still fascinating and it is something that is worthwhile to explore. I was compelled to make this video specifically because the polling firm that released the data, Léger, has been consistently accurate in predicting previous election outcomes, and it was also the most accurate firm in predicting the last Canadian election, which gives these numbers more merit and credibility than any other firm, especially for Canadian elections. I got the idea to make this video when I saw a few tweets by Polling Canada and others which caught my attention when they said that the Léger poll could potentially show a red Carleton. Of course, that is more hyperbole than anything, but even seeing a close race in a deeply conservative riding like Carleton, especially since it is Pierre Poilievre, the leader of the Conservative Party's own riding, could only be bad for the Conservatives, right? If you look at the poll aggregators right now, Poilievre.com gives the Conservatives a small 2.5% lead over the Liberals, while 338 Canada still gives the Conservatives a 10% lead over the Liberals in Carleton. I've been tracking the elections and Poilievre has been ahead of 338 Canada when it comes to finding trends and updating their website based on whatever trends they find before 338 Canada does. In terms of probabilities, 338 Canada says that there's a 94% chance of it going to Poilievre and a 6% chance of it going to Bruce Fanjoy, who is the candidate running from the Liberal Party. That is bad for the Conservatives because even if they win this riding, which they most likely will, they last won the riding by 15% in 2021, which shows that Pierre's support in this riding has slightly reduced. Now, all of this stems from Léger's poll, so if we dive into the numbers there, we can see that 59% of the poll respondents from Eastern Ontario, which is anything east of Durham region, so Kingston, Ottawa, and all of the rural areas in between, 59% have indicated that they'll vote for the Liberals, as opposed to just 27% who have indicated support for the Conservatives. Now, that is really bad for Pierre Poilievre, and it is one of the main reasons why he's doing so bad in the polls and in Ontario in general. These kind of numbers could potentially mean a lot of Conservative seats get flipped for the Liberals, and not just in the urban areas but also potentially in some rural ridings as well. So when you consider the implications of this in actual seat count, which is what matters at the end of the day, it is perhaps more plausible than before that Carleton could be one of those competitive ridings. So again, do I personally think that Carleton will be switched to the Liberals? No, I don't. Especially living here, I see a lot of Conservative support here. I see a lot of those Conservative lawn signs everywhere. But regardless, it is still deeply worrisome that this region of the province is predicted to flip so decisively to the Liberals by a polling firm that accurately predicted the outcome of the last 3 elections in Canada. So again, why do you think there's such a big difference in polling versus what we'd normally expect? And how close do you think the specific race in Carleton is going to be? If you live in this riding, I'd specifically want to know what you think by what you've seen around you, and if it tracks with what Leger and a lot of the polling aggregators are predicting, or at least hinting at. And again, let me know in the comments what you think. And for now, this is it with the video, and I'll see you again with another one soon.